Welcome to another episode of Rum and Books. We are in episode 9. Wow, it's been 9. So, like we do every Thursday night, we bring some very interesting people to the screen and we talk to them. I get to catch up with them because a lot of these folks are my friends. I've been very fortunate to have them in my life. And tonight, I'm very excited to bring Shannon O'Brien. She's an awesome lady. She is the founder of Whole You. Whole You. She's a coach and career and lifestyle coach. So she's been really sharing a gift with folks of Boston and beyond. So it's going to be very interesting to bring her on the screen. I can't wait. This is what we do every Thursday night. I drink a little bit of rum. And, we have awesome people coming to the screen to share some very interesting books with us as well. So it's been great. Oh, hey, go Shannon. There we go.
Hello.
Hey,
hi, Jessica.
What's going on?
How are you tonight? Good to see you.
I'm great. I love the logos and everything. I mean, you just be repping Whole You like nobody's business. I love it.
Got to.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's such a fresh logo too. It's so minimal. I think you hit gold with that logo. I'm telling you. So.
Thank you. A friend of mine, Michael, helped me design it. A former colleague from MIT. He's a great, talented guy. I kind of conceptualized it, but he helped me all, bring it all together. But I have to say, I'm in the basement right now. So if you were seeing the rest of my surroundings, you would not think it's as put together. So this is definitely the direction the camera should go.
No worries. I mean, this is the world we live in, right? Because I think once everybody went virtual, you learn to set up a space in your home space to really, kind of represent your home base or, brand yourself. So yeah, absolutely. So if you didn't tell me that, I would know.
Where are you? What's that background?
Oh yeah, actually, I'm at the office, so I'm at 9 Taylor. So
nice.
I'm at the office today. So usually I have my little virtual space at the house also that I've been filming these. But recently, I think last one, my kids were inside the house and they're enjoying themselves. So I think a lot of that noise came to the camera. So I've been trying to film at the office when nobody's around, and nobody's around the office today. So I don't need to have my mask on. So which is awesome, great.
Perfect. Good.
I was trying to figure out how long we know each other. I mean, we met each other Boston World Partnerships, right?
That's right. I want to say it was at least 2011.
Yeah, man. I mean, you were among the people who were, destined to change Boston.
We were destined. What happened? I think we had to keep, after Boston World Partnerships dissolved, we had to go our own routes, carve our own paths, our own way, right?
But you continue that path with Whole You, I think. I mean, you've been helping a lot of folks to find their life purpose. So it's you've, from what I understand, you left your job and started Whole You, right? How was that like?
Yeah, I was working. So a little bit of backtrack to 2008, bring it back to 2008, because I was laid off from my job. I was working at the Harvard Foundation for Intercultural and Race Relations. And at the time, when the economy tanked and people were getting laid off, my position was eliminated. It was maybe identified as non-essential, but I loved my job and it was eliminated. And so it took me a year and a half to find a new job. And I was in the space of diversity and inclusion and intercultural communication. So I found a job at a cross-cultural consulting firm, and I worked there for about a year. And then I left because I was volunteering at MIT, and I loved MIT. It's like Willy Wonka's, chocolate factory. There's so many amazing, smart people at MIT. And so I had an opportunity to work there and just got a job there. And I worked there for about 2.5 years, started Whole You, and then decided in 2013 I just wanted to do Whole You whole time. So.
That's right.
That's right. Here I am.
Our friend Rachel here waved at us.
Hello, Rachel.
Yeah. So, hey, guys.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. She's on here. But that's amazing, though. I mean, you touched base on something very critical, is the layoff. Because even myself, early in my career, I've got laid off, and I was telling somebody that last week where my parents didn't prepare me for that. School didn't prepare for that. So it was a big shock for me. My first job, out of college, I got laid off from. And that really set me off to even motivate me to always have, my own little side hustle, if you will. Even if I had jobs, I would have, always something, my own side hustle, just because I feel like that's kind of that freedom, that independence. And we preach that now. I mean, I'm going to get to, having a side hustle as a purpose, which is what O is all about. But I want to get into a conversation you and I had. That was around meditation and yoga, right? It just came to my head just now that you and I had a conversation about meditation and yoga. And so how are you still practicing right now?
Yeah, and I'm actually practicing right now, right? The thing of meditation is that you don't need to be in a cave or on a pillow. It's actually, or mindfulness is always happening all the time, right? Like all the chaos is happening. I'm in the basement, tucked away, having this call, present with you. At one level, that's really meditation. My practice, yeah, I'm still doing it when I can and baking it into my daily routine. I think after we met, like I'm flashing back to the last time we met, I think I had just returned from a 10-day silent retreat. So I might have, I think that was it. If I remember the timing correctly, it kind of rings a bell. And then I was probably in a really good space, really good, food, and it's all vegetarian, and you're on a sleep schedule. So I mean, that's very intense, but then how do you integrate that into your daily life? You really just need little micro moments throughout the day to bring you back.
So it's interesting. How do we bring meditation in today's way? One of the things that we talk about is the focus, right? And I remember, I was saying, man, when I go to yoga spaces where, I had to do a what do you call that? A savasana, right? Mm-hmm. And just totally lay down and just relax. And I thought, back then I was doing it wrong because I wasn't falling asleep like the guy next to me.
He was just sleeping.
So I thought I'm doing it wrong because he's falling asleep. He's totally relaxed. And I'm still in the space where you learn it's just about being present. So if you let go, you kind of lost that control. Is that right?
If you let go, you lost control. Well, I don't know. I would want you to define that more, but a point that occurred to me when you said the guy next door is falling asleep and you thought you were doing it wrong, I think that's what we get in the habit. I must be doing something wrong. So everyone else is doing it right and I'm doing it wrong. I think that the truth is that we just all have our own. He had a different day. He took a muscle relaxer. He didn't have his caffeine that day. Whatever it was, like we're all in a different space and time and need different things. So it's really just an individual kind of practice, and you have to get the results that you need, So if you need to fall asleep and take a nap, then hopefully you lost control and allowed yourself to do that. But if you don't need a nap, just stay alert, and like I've heard, yoga is to relax the body, and then shavasana is just like, okay, now my body's relaxed and I have no distraction from like a bum knee or something like that. Now I can just rest my mind,
Correct. So how do we stay focused in these challenging times? So I think right now it's so much going on, so much distraction. Even for me, sometimes like the head is heavy with, at the house, sometimes we can go a week without turning on the news just because it's so, that's how we take control of our life.
Yeah.
Just turn off the news for a second, just because it's so much going on, right?
Right.
And being quarantined for, 8 months now. So how do we bring that focus into our space these days?
Yeah, I think you raise a great point about taking control. What can I control? I always refer back to the serenity prayer of paraphrasing. I know what I can control and I know what I can't control, and let me just focus on the things I can control. So I think you're doing the right thing by turning the news off. Maybe not just 1 minute, like multiple minutes, maybe forever. Like turning the news off, you can control that. And some of my clients, and myself included, I feel that headache, like that pressure, those dry eyeballs, and then I'm like, whoa, something needs to give here, right? Like, yes, we have all of these things that we need to do, but we need to prioritize. Like, is this really urgent, or can this wait? And I'll give a quick example, because a client was saying, and even my aunt, who's a nurse in Philadelphia, she's saying, I am working from home, but I'm still on back-to-back Zoom meetings from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I'm glued to my desk all day long, and I can't get away. So what we have to do is take control of our calendars and block in an hour. This is sacred time on my calendar. Nobody touches it.
Yeah.
Nobody touches it. Now, if there's an emergency with your kid, yeah, it's different. But this is my time, and maybe there's certain days of the week that are sacred to you. Maybe there's some certain chunks of the day. But it's really about time management, right? It's really about... Sure. And you are in control of your life. You are in control of your time. So don't let anyone take that sacred time. Like, how do they know we're available? They know we're available because we give our calendar, we give up our free time. So just don't do that, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you talk about sacred time, or sacred space too, because I remember at the office, some of the, my coworkers sometimes will bring something in front of me, say, oh, you got to look at this thing, like very disturbing. And, I would say I don't want to see it, just because I know whatever that thing is not going to make me feel good that day. Mm-hmm. So I, you have to take ownership. Sometimes I feel like you have to take ownership of your own mental space as well. Like, have a say what kind of content you consume, so
100%. And that was very mindful of you. Be like, whoa, I don't want to see that, don't, because everyone wants to show you their insert swear word, their crap, like, oh, look at what happened to me today. Look at this thing on the news. Look at the traffic I'm stuck in. Everyone wants to give you and share the bad things. That's a natural tendency for humans. So for you to be like, whoa, this is my sacred space. I don't want that right now. It's hard to do sometimes, because you obviously want to be empathetic and supportive, because you want them to be empathetic and supportive to you. But to be like, no, I don't have time for that right now. I don't want that right now.
Yeah.
And that's maybe like just setting an intention with your friend to be like, to always ask for, hey, do you have a moment right now? I really want to talk about this thing and share it. But I love that you set a boundary around your time.
Yeah, for sure. So is that like people who really trying to, align themselves with their life purpose and think about some of these content they may be consuming may not be aligned with that purpose that they have, right? Mm-hmm. Is that, I'm trying to relate, you having control of the type of content that you consume, or the type of, energy people bring towards you, and trying to get to that life purpose that you have. Is that kind of, am I on the right track here?
Well, this is a tough thing. So you and I, with entrepreneurial spirit, doing our own thing, we can control. We can control the contractors we hire. We can even control the clients that we choose to work with to some degree, right? Yeah. Now, when you're working for somebody else, they have an agenda. You have to follow. You have signed a contract that you follow their agenda. So at one level, when you are working for an establishment and you're an employee, you have to follow their agenda. So I would say you don't have control there. But of course, we could talk about which ways you could still control. So you asked about life purpose. Some people can feel that their job is purposeful. And like when I worked at MIT, when I worked at Harvard, I was promoting invention. I was promoting diversity. I felt like that was part of my life purpose. So I was okay with signing up to the agenda and whatever the boss's agenda. And, I just did what was on the table, and then obviously when you have a little bit more independence, aside from your job, like on the side, you can, start the side hustle. So I don't know if you want to talk about that then, but then you have more control over, this is my side hustle. It's my life purpose. It's my sacred space. Nobody touches it. Nobody tells me what to do. So there's just different routes that you can go about it.
Yeah. Well, really the side hustle, my way of promoting is really passion to profit, something you're passionate about and make it a profit. I mean, menswear was a passion of mine and ended up being a profit and ended up being my life work. So doesn't matter, even with these Instagram live feed I've been doing every Thursday. Yeah. People, I know people waiting to hear some sort of style tip or something for me, but I've been trying to show that, there's more to me than just, good looking clothes. So that's it.
That's good. I mean, that ties into the whole you too. I'm like a good looking, well dressed man, and I'm a business.
Oh, thank you.
Huh? Yeah, and I'm a businessman, and I'm a family man, and I go to church, and I have my kids, and like that's what people relate to, is that we're human beings with a lot going on, hiding in our basement sometimes, and we need to do a professional call, and so that's all these silver linings that are coming out of this really difficult time, is that people are seeing the humanity and hopefully having more empathy and compassion and patience for each other.
Yeah. Speaking of family, how's mom life?
Yeah, mom life. It's like, I was always resistant to the title mom. I was just like, no, I don't want to be called that. I don't know why. And I was trying to find out different, like, my daughter should call me by my first name. I was just trying these different things on, but now she calls me mommy, and it's really cute. So I'm like, okay, you can call me mommy.
Yeah.
Because you have an identity. I'm 41 now. You have an identity for 4 decades, and then you have to make the switch into being a parent. How did that work for you? Like, were you cool with just being called daddy, and you're just like, whoa, I'm Jeff?
Yeah. I was cool with being called daddy. I think for me, it's just, I took it very seriously. I took it, my role or my purpose in life is to make sure that my kids are set. It's about that, set it up for the next generation, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe some of the work that we're doing right now is to make sure not just protect them, but also empower them for where they're gonna go. These days there's a lot of information and content about how negative being Black is, right? Mm-hmm. So now is I don't want them to think that's the future. Right. So between the work that we've been doing is really empower them and said, you know what, we've been through worse. Mm-hmm. So it's up to you how you want that content to affect you. And for a kid, I mean, some of it was, it's funny you asked me that. It was my son's 10th birthday this Sunday, and I was about to get into it in terms of do this whole speech, and my wife was like, "We're just gonna sing Happy Birthday." So and I was like, "You're right, Happy Birthday."
Yeah, well, he turned 10. He's 10.
10. Yeah, that's right.
Well, there's a balance, right? Because when you I have this, like, I'm a model, I'm a role model, I'm giving them hope and empowerment. There's that, and then they're like, I just want ice cream, and so they want to be a kid and be fun, but then we know, that we want to prepare them for life. So again, it's that fine balance between fun and empowerment, right?
Yeah, my kids are this set, man. I mean, they're, good readers. I mean, they're good people. I mean, they're just set. So they'd be awesome. And it's funny. I mean, I want to bring this conversation I had with this very famous tailor. And I met him in January, and this guy's, world renowned. He works in London, works in New York, been in movies, and I was fortunate to have a conversation with him. And he said to me, ask me what my job description is. And so I asked him, what's your job? Actually, he asked me what my job description was for first. And I started telling him, I'm chief marketing, I do all that stuff. I'm going to all my titles and what I achieve. And he's like, ask me what my job description is. And I said, well, what's your job description? And he said, you know what? My job description is what get me up every single day and push me to do what I do. Mm. It's the reason why I do what I do every single day. Mm. And that's to provide for my family. That's my job description.
Oh.
So that's his purpose. So everything that he's been doing. So he imagined that if a client comes to him and to tailor a suit, that's what that he's tailoring is to provide for his family. Mm. You know what I mean? That's his purpose.
Right.
So which means when we go to a job or go to work, right in front of him is his family. Mm-hmm. So
that's the end goal. That's the value and the purpose below what the day-to-day of what he's doing is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I need to ask you about your book list. What kind of book, we catch up, You drink so. What are you drinking, by the way?
I did. This is water. This is mommy water.
Mommy, I know. Yeah.
Cheers to you. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking rum.
Rum. What type of rum? You talk.
So tonight I'm bringing to the screen Clemente. So it's a rum out of the Martinique, and with the French Caribbean. So we're tasting Clemente tonight. And knowing you're a world traveler, and I know you have a little bit of French, speaking in there. So I figured it would be a good rum to bring to the screen with you.
Cool. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Merci.
Yeah. De rien.
I'm water now. I considered a glass of wine. It had been a hard day, but I'll stick with the water. In terms of the books, one is an old favorite, an old classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Nice.
Dale Carnegie. And I think I'd read it before, leafed through it, but I did start to read it right when the pandemic hit. And I think it was because, just communicating, interacting with people, clients, whoever it is, the world is people. It's made up of people, and how do we manage and interact with people and in order to make those interactions effective. And, the principles in here are just so key. And they're so simple, too. Like, I was looking through it and I obviously have notes. One of them was smile, like obvious, right? But to smile because it's contagious. And,
wow.
Using people's names, right? You like to hear when your name is said by the other person. And so there's just a lot of great, very simple wisdom and some examples that are kind of old school, but you can still put them in the modern context. So that was one that people often refer to, Dale Carnegie. And I think Dale Carnegie, they have like speaking centers. So if you wanted to practice, you could go to one of their speaking centers, and I'm sure they have online courses as well. But that's an oldie but a goodie that I actually did read. Yeah. Do you want to talk about others?
Yeah, please keep going. What else do you have for us today?
Little demo. So another one, this is just random. I had heard Megan Fox, the actress, talk about the fact that she has 3 sons, and they're all so different. And she said that she consulted an astrologist, and the astrologist was like, letting her know that your children will view you through a different lens depending on what their sign is. And I was like, whoa, that's fascinating. And she said she was really, really into it. So I did a bit of Googling. And there's this book called Momstrology. And maybe
there you go.
A dadstrology too. But it's essentially,
I'm sure it is.
As a parent, your child might be fitting into one of these different categories. I just think it's fascinating. You don't want to take it, verbatim and just take it for what it's worth. But my daughter, her name is London. She's an Aries. Nice. It just so happened it was like, strap on your sneakers, mommy, because you're going to be chasing her around. And maybe that's all children. I don't know. I don't have any frame of reference. She's got so much energy. It says that she'd be a picky eater, totally picky eater. So who knows if it's due to her sign or just childhood, but I just thought it was worth a read, just light reading to lighten it up. I do a lot of business type of books.
It's interesting. No wonder that's so tight, because I'm an Aries, but I'm not a picky eater. So
were you a child though?
Nope.
No.
I've always been, I'm not a picky eater. No.
What's your birth date?
April 19th.
April 19th. Okay, she's April 10th.
Maybe it's the beginning of April.
Who knows? Now, I will say, this is one of the books I was going to talk about. There's a book called The Secret Language of Birthdays. And maybe I showed it to you. I talk about it with everybody. And there's a day and a description for every single day of the year. And I feel like mine is totally on point. My parents are on point. Every description is so relevant. So I do think there's something to it. I don't know what it could possibly be. It could just be the placebo effect, but I'm kind of into it. Yeah. And then I have more business-related books. One is called Get Clients Now.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one that I've heard about. One called, you had said Profit from Your Purpose. This was a book that was recommended, or I kept seeing it mentioned over and over again, called Profit First. Profit First. And I admit that I haven't finished it. All these books, some have been read completely, and some I need to get into further. One I'll also mention that I just picked up in Whole Foods, and I can't wait to dive in. It's called Everything You Need to Know About Computer Science and Coding. I just think in our day and age, we have so much digital interaction, and just to know what's going on behind the scenes would be really useful. And this is like set up in a very clear way for like a middle schooler.
Yep.
So I thought that was fascinating. And then the final one I'll mention is the complete book of Ayurvedic home remedies. And I'm really interested in this because my brother Sean is really into Ayurveda, which is an ancient Indian set of principles on how you should eat and live according to what they call your dosha.
Nice.
So that's the other book that's more personal that I can't wait to read in more depth when I got some time.
That's a very great list. I mean, it's well balanced. It's a whole list.
Thank you.
It is a whole list. So I really appreciate you getting on the screen with me tonight and share the books and share your experience being mom and kind of reconnecting. So I really appreciate you coming. I'm still working on a good closing for this thing. So maybe you can help me find a way to close it tonight. So I've been working on a closing. What do you think? How should I close it?
Yeah, well, there's definitely something to say about the rum. A focus. Tell me about your rum. Is it making you feel good? Does it taste good? How does it compare? Maybe that's it. Is like you have a rating where you rate the rums, and then you say, my partner Peter watches this car show, and they different cars. He's called Doug DeMuro, this guy, and he gives it a Doug score. So you could give your rum a Jeff score. How the body, the flavor, the price. Maybe that's one way to end it.
Yeah, could be. The issue is I only pick good rum, so
so they're all a 10.
I like aged rum, and you can't go wrong with aged rum. If you go wrong with an aged rum, it's a problem. These are well priced rum, and you learn that anything like bourbon or rum, learn about the water that's around, because if that place have good water, good liquor, it's not with the water. So it's from Martinique, nice Caribbean water, can't go wrong. So it is very sweet. So it's a very sweet, balanced taste to it. I'm really enjoying it right now.
Very cool. Very nice. And that's one possible way to end. That leaves people on a nice sweet note.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, thank you, Shannon, for coming to the screen. I appreciate your knowledge, appreciate your share. And I want you to continue to do what you're doing, because you're helping a lot of people trying to figure out, what they want to do with their career and their life. So I think that's an amazing thing to do, especially right now where there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of confusion of what's going on. This is a very important time for people to stay focused in their purpose. And I know it can get cloudy, happen to me sometimes, but I think with meditation, with really kind of take a step back, we can bring it back, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you're doing. What'd you say?
I said with perspective and priorities, and prioritizing our time and setting boundaries like you're doing. Thank you for sharing those tips that you
absolutely
implement.
And take time off. It's okay. Right? So
thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Love and gratitude to you.
Likewise.
Stay blessed. Your fans, stay blessed. Bye.
Bye-bye.